Are you gonna watch Glad's video? Oh yeah, we do need to watch that. Guys, Glad put out a video the other day and I actually started watching a little bit, but I ended up pausing it and bringing it back here because I wanted to watch it with you guys. And essentially the title of the video is The Truth That Destiny 2 PvP players don't want to hear.
You get really involved into this game and you have all these ideas about
man of his word,
and you have all these things that you wish were different about the game, and you have all these opinions on things and hot takes and constructive criticism, and you know everybody thinks that they know what the best version of the game is, right? And what I realized was it didn't matter like how much I would voice my opinion or how much the community would voice their opinion. Bungie had the direction that the game was going to go, and it didn't matter what I thought or what I wanted or what anybody wanted. The game was going in the direction that it wanted to go, so it was pretty much useless to try to control that and just keep hoping. Like, you know, I'd be like, okay, well maybe it'll, like, you know, maybe things will come back, maybe those secrets will come back, maybe this will come back, and I just kept like hoping. And they just never would. You know, Destiny's PvE has always been and will always be a priority of the game. And I know people don't like to hear this, right? I know people don't like to hear this, but Destiny is a PvE game with PvP intertwined within it. But it is a PvE game at its core and has always been and will always be a PvE game at its core with PvP mixed in, which gives it that cool blend of genres that we all know. You know, if you take away PvP from Destiny, it's not Destiny anymore. Destiny needs the PvP in it. However, it's a fucking PvE game at its core. And people fucking freak out. I've literally seen people freak out about that. But I mean, if you can't fucking see that at this point, then you're fucking lost. You are so beyond like oblivious to what's going on. So the vibe that has been happening for fucking years and it's always been like this. It's like people want this PvP game to just constantly have all of these, like Destiny. They want this Destiny PvP game to just have all of these focused updates on PvP, and they want it to be the next like competitive PvP game, you know, and it's never been like that. So I don't know where this even came from in the first place. So like like fucking years ago, I'm like, all right, like Destiny is definitely more of a PvE game, but okay, I mean, you know, I hope that the PvP gets service, but it's never going to be a priority. They're not just going to drop all the PvE and just balance the game on PvP. Like, enjoy.
I do want to stop right there. Let me just say, I do agree with Glad on that Destiny is focused around PvE, but understand Destiny is focused around PvE because Bungie tried to focus it around PvP. They really tried. The launch of Destiny 2 was Bungie's biggest shot of trying to make Destiny a PvP focused game. I know this because when they actually invited content creators for the capture event for Destiny 2, they brought a ton of PvP players to that. Like a ton. But everything from double primaries to 4v4 to Trials of the Nine, Bungie was really trying to pitch a PvP game. I would still say it was a PvE game, but that was probably resource-wise the most Bungie has ever committed to PvP, was the launch of D2 Vanilla. The thing is, everyone hated double primaries. That existed because Bungie thought that's what people wanted. They were working their way to that point by limiting special ammo, but they took it too far. And I actually think where we are ammo-wise and special-wise and even the special economy could be better. For sure, it could be better. But I think we're in a good spot, or as good as we're going to get in a game like Destiny. But the original answer to that was going to be double primaries. And it just, the whole like argument of having hero moments, we just didn't have those hero moments rocking double primary. Let's just continue though.
Enjoy the PvP, that's great. I'm not hating on people that do, right? But let's remember where Destiny's focus is here. And then another year goes by and it's, you know, I'm not happy PvP does not make me happy. And it's like, dude, this is the same conversation that we had last year. Like, Destiny is a PvE focused game. Like, you're not gonna get what you want out of Destiny's PvP. I'm pretty sure we've made that clear now for like all of Destiny 1 and now a couple years into Destiny 2, and then another year goes by and all I see is PvP, not happy. Why aren't we getting this? We haven't got this. We haven't seen this. And it's like, dog, this, what fucking year is it now? How many years are we gonna go over this? Like, you keep expecting these things from Bungie, and it's very clear that this is not where their attention and their efforts are and their energy.
Well, I gotta stop right there though. I would say that, I mean, someone who plays both PvP and PvE, I would say on both ends of the spectrum, I just don't feel like attention is being put toward either side, PvP or PvE. I felt like a long time ago we lost innovation as far as like challenging evergreen content to go after inside of PvE. We had this conversation the other day, guys. It's like the way Bungie makes content, it's made to be eventually removed. And then the other side of things, I'm not really sure if the demands from PvP players, there are definitely people out there that make crazy demands of PvP. They're like, they want the most balanced meta. They pitch all these things that are essentially like tourney level rules, like something that you would find in sweats, and they want this everywhere. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that in Destiny. You know, I think it was Cammy Cakes that said it best. There's too many blue shells. You know, you've got blue shells inside of Mario Kart that goes all the way to the front and always gets the kill, right? Inside of Destiny, we have too many blue shells. You got too many things, too many shenanigans that allows you to get the one shot kill. I mean, Cloud Strike, one tap with Ariana's Vow, Jotun. Look, we could go on and on. There's so many different examples of cheesy ass shit. The reality is, that's just the way Destiny is. It's just got too many weapons, too many builds. Ariana's Vow. Yes, Ariana's Vow. We've been doing a one tap build with Ariana's Vow. And again, it's just it's cheese. It's cheese. So for my PvP players that are like wanting this like super balanced meta, that's something you gotta give up on. It's never gonna happen. And in some ways, I don't even know if you want that to happen. I don't even know if you would enjoy that. But I will say this, I don't think PvP players are being overly demanding. I think a lot of us are, you know, or those that play PvP, a lot of them just want maps. Dude, maps would be amazing. And not even new maps, although new maps would be nice. Just all the old maps that we've lost. We made a video a while back going over all the maps we have lost just in Destiny 2 alone. I know the conversation that revolves around this. Bungie says that making maps is too expensive. Is it though? There's a lot of maps you've brought already from D1 to D2. Like, how expensive? And there's a lot of maps from D1 that would be amazing in D2. New maps can't be monetized. That's a problem. Why does everything have to be behind a pay structure? And I know it's like Cross being adult here. This is how business is. Most of us buy the deluxe edition. We are nearing levels of subscription content. In my opinion, it would fall under that. And the whole like conversation of it's too expensive or they can't monetize it. There's an intangible here called goodwill. You acquire goodwill from your community. You acquire trust. That will keep a player base rooted, playing your game for a very long time.
And their money is going towards the bigger picture of Destiny. And you know, this is before we knew about Marathon and other things, so it's very clear where their resources are going.
Yeah,
right. Destiny doesn't hate the PvP community. It's just Destiny is not a fucking competitive PvP game for like 6 years now, and then another year goes by and another year goes by, and it's just at the point where it's like all these fucking PvP players do. I'm not lumping every PvP player in the entire world. There's tons of people that are making changes, and I respect that, and I appreciate you, and I hope that you find happiness. But overall, the general vibe of Destiny and what the PvP players want is it's just constant disappointment and never getting what they want, and always thinking that there's something around the corner or the next update or that they're entitled to this or entitled to that, or that this needs to happen, or that Bungie hasn't been servicing them, or what kind of fucking, like, are they even listening? It's just like all these things that are just fucking made up, that have never ever been a thing in the first place, and they're always unhappy and they're always complaining. Why are you still here? Move on. Like you are so fucking stuck that in this thing that is just going to spin and spin and spin and spin and spin in the same spot, and it's never going to go anywhere. And you,
I will say this. I've always said this to people that were phenomenal PvP players. Y'all remember Gamer a long time ago? Gamer guy was the guy we used to play with. An excellent player. Like the ability to, like, you know, truly go pro somewhere. But I've always told people, like, if you've got the skill that you feel like you can make something out of being a PvP player, don't waste it on Destiny. I'm not saying like you can't do things like trials. I'm talking about from a, like, going pro. Like, if you're looking to go pro somewhere, you've got other games. Go play those PvP games. At the same time, if you just like to go click heads and, you know, run around with some crazy weapons and shoot things. I mean, we've got some cool ass guns that you just don't get the same feel elsewhere. And there is some level of gunplay that Destiny 2 offers that I haven't been able to get elsewhere. I mean, it's nice. As far as PvE goes, shooting a last word in PvE, although you could pair with Lucky Pants and get some crazy damage values, and it's cool and all, but shooting a last word, at least during its heyday of when it was meta, that shit was fun. So if you just like to have fun, then I think Destiny 2 PvP can be that at times, although it can be infuriating at times. Other PvP games can do that for you, man. You know, no one likes to get their ass beat in any game, right? You're getting your ass pounded in a PvP game, whether it's Destiny or Valorant or Overwatch or hell, RuneScape or freaking, you know, New World. It can be an MMORPG. No one likes to get ass pounded. So, you know, no one leaves an ass whooping after a multiplayer match and it's like, oh my God, that was the best time of my life. But what D2 offers for me is, you know, PvP side of things is the ability to load up some really cool weaponry and try out a variety of different things. It's really cool.
You're literally just making zero progress always, and yet you still have the same upsetting, negative, complaining, unhappy vibes that you're just projecting to the entire community, and then it just snowballs, and that's what's happening. It's like this, dude. It's just negative energy, just fucking all the time. And it just gets worse every season and every season and every season. And it's the same fucking conversations all the time. And that's what's happening. And what's the word? Exhausting, draining, same shit. You know what I mean? And it comes to a point where, like, if you're one of these people that is just, like, if you're in chat right now and you're one of these people and you feel extremely called out and you're like, I mean, that's me, right? I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm knocking on your skull and I'm saying, wake the fuck up, because nothing's gonna change, especially now with Marathon, which is I think the biggest reason all of this drama is getting worse.
Look. Glad may be triggering some people on this, but if you want to know why there has not been many PvP updates inside of Destiny 2, it's because they are not there. That PvP team is gone. They are working on Marathon. That is Bungie's PvP project. Now, I will say this. I still don't think it's that difficult to push out a damn map or a couple maps every season.
Because of Marathon. Marathon made things way worse because now everyone has a cause. Right now, everyone has something to point at. Oh, it's because of this. And you know what? They're probably fucking right. Which gives you even more reason to move the fuck on. Like, if you're that unhappy season after season with Destiny, then that's your own fucking fault at this point. Like if you're playing Destiny for PvP and you were just that upset season after season, and it is just such a fucking grueling thing that it's this self-induced at this point, because nothing's gonna happen. And if Destiny comes out with a huge fucking PvP revamp, you know, the whole game becomes a PvP focus, I'll eat my words, but I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna fucking happen. So you're gonna keep living in your your shitty little unhappy bubble expecting Destiny PvP to become exactly what you want it to be. It's never going to become exactly what you want it to be. And you need to move on, and you need to realize this and have some self-awareness and knock on your own fucking fucked up skull, because it's the same shit every year, you know? I just like, I want to see my friends be happy, man. I want to see my friends be happy. And I just see so many people not happy all the time. It's the same. It's the same shit. I mean, is it like at some point, because I see what people are saying, right? People don't want to leave. They're stuck. It's how they're, you know, we're talking like content creators, I guess, right? They're stuck. It's how they're making money. They can't leave. They'll lose their, you know, income. I see, I get what you're saying, but at some point, doesn't there have to be a breaking point? And if you're not at that breaking point after 9 fucking years, like when does that break it? Do you?
Content creators and streamers especially, dude, don't do shit that makes you miserable. It poisons the well, permeates your content, your demeanor. You know, there are times that, you know, when a Love Monarch user is putting its balls in my face round after round in a comp game or a trials game, I very much dislike that moment. But overall, every time we've ever geared up a stream, man, yo, we're gaming. I'm having a fun time, whether it's Destiny or another game. But I will say this, if Destiny PvP is making you miserable, or Destiny in general, if like playing Destiny makes you miserable, don't play it. Voice what you are concerned about it, you know? If it just makes you miserable, dude, don't play it. I know that there's like people that are financially committed to doing like trials every weekend. I don't really know how much financially committed they are. I mean, I'm not looking at their numbers, you know. I think account recoveries was one here recently, or like last year. I remember when Bungie announced that they were going to ban account recoveries, there was like a subset of streamers that were doing openly doing account recoveries. They were very much shook about this because it's like this was a huge income source for them. It shouldn't have been an income source to begin with. And then secondly, some of those guys that were doing it over and over, man, they were just miserable. Just miserable. Dude, if I had to play trials 50 hours every single weekend, I would lose my mind. I don't know how Jake does it. Grenader Jake does it. God dog it. I would still maintain whatever content you make or whatever you may stream. If it makes you miserable, dude, find an exit soon. And the beautiful thing about Destiny is like you do have two sides. You can go play PvE. You could dabble in lore. I would get bored out of my mind. If I was just a PvE only player or a PvP only player, I would get bored out of my mind. I will say this though, for my PvP players that want to enjoy the game, or my people trying to pick up PvP to enjoy it, you need to just embrace the cheese. Embrace the cheese. I remember in Destiny 1 year 3, everyone was like really like elitist when it came to your loadouts. It was like, no, you need to use a hand cannon. You need to use an IS Luna or a palindrome. And there was like this elitism attitude toward everything. And that if you didn't use a certain loadout, if you didn't use certain weapons, you were unskilled. And some people took that to heart. Listen to me, guys. Embrace the cheese. Become it. Use it. Enjoy it. Love it. That is what keeps PvP fresh for me. How do I find ways to kill people in the most unskilled manner possible? There are some things that are extremely unskilled that pisses you off, and there are some things that just pisses you off just to piss you off. We bitch about Le Monarch. I get mad at Le Monarch because I kind of suck with it. I don't know why. I try using Le Monarch. I've got a shit with it, but I see people use it so effectively. Well, that just pisses me off. But Ariana one taps with Sanguine all day long, man. Antaeus wards all day long. Embrace the meta. Embrace the cheese.
Do you just hate your fucking life for like 15 years and then you retire and you're like, all right, cool, that was fun. I fucking hated all of that. Like at some point there has to be like a point where you make a change. Like what is life without taking risks and making changes? How are you supposed to grow as a person? Everybody can do, even if it's something as simple as just limiting your playtime to like 2 hours a day or a couple hours a week, and then doing other things that make you happy. That could be other games, that could be other hobbies. Like, I want people to be happy. That's ultimately what this comes down to, is I don't like seeing people so upset all the time.
I feel like Glad is like, yo, it's like he's talking to a friend. He's like, dude, she doesn't love you, man. Get it through your head. She doesn't want you. It's like that one friend that's like trying to explain to the other friend that they're going to be forever friend zoned. And so I feel like he's coming from a good place of like, he does want directly his friends that are content creators to try something else. And understand Glad's speaking from a perspective of somebody that went full-blown variety. Glad's full-blown variety now. He used to play nothing but Destiny. But he's full-blown variety now, and he's done very, very well. I'm going to be honest, guys. If I just played Destiny all the time, I'd go out of my mind. I know like the view counts on some of our other games are not comparable to that of Destiny, but A, I like some of these other games, especially this past year. We've had a hell of a year. And B, man, I want to be able to tell my kids I played Tears of the Kingdom when it first came out. Or I, talk about Diablo 4 or even Hogwarts Legacy, right? Or Starfield. Those games, you don't just have games like that just drop on you all the time. I know we are getting consistent bangers one after another this year, but it does not happen often. Even outside of a financial standpoint, these games don't just drop out of nowhere. Enjoy them when they do. And I feel like also enjoying a game, you can enjoy a game. Like, you don't have to play Zelda when they launch or any of these games when they launch. But, dude, it's hella hype. When you guys are playing it, I'm playing it, y'all come in, and we're sitting there talking about whatever game we may be playing. It just adds to the overall experience. Here's the thing. We don't load up Destiny because we feel like we have to. I do, at the end of the day, still very much enjoy this game. August is really going to be the telltale for me. And, I've been with Destiny through its lows. 2018 was probably its biggest low. I plan on still being with Destiny until it reaches that point of, like, capitulation. Like, until it reaches that point where it's like the whole community just doesn't care anymore because innovation on Bungie's end has stopped. And I've mentioned it before that Destiny won't die for me, despite even the monetization and some of the things that are questionable that are happening. The game won't truly die for me until there's no longer innovation on Bungie's end. When that happens, and then not only that, goodwill innovation. If innovation keeps occurring from a perspective of, like Bungie's like this past season, we updated the Eververse store to recommend items for you. Like that I don't give a shit about the development time that went into making the Eververse store a more desirable store for my buying experience. I care about stuff that we actually get to do in the game. Swiping the credit card is not shit we can do in the game. So if innovation is continuing to move toward just ways to further monetize the community and not to actually make a game that we enjoy playing, well, that is when I would consider quitting Destiny. Innovation, we have been without innovation since year one of D1. What? Year one of D1, we've been without innovation? Guys, I think sometimes we get a little too caught up in shit, I think there's some things that we need to put in perspective. I do think that the best year of gaming we've ever had in Destiny was the year of Forsaken. That should be the benchmark. I enjoyed Witch Queen. Witch Queen was actually, we talk about Forsaken really highly, and people rag on Witch Queen, say Witch Queen wasn't a good year. Man, we got an overhaul to our subclasses every season. Big overhauls. Big changes. I wasn't the biggest fan of like Plunder or even like the storyline around Haunted, but Witch Queen was still a good year. And we did a video though ranking the seasons, and that's really what we should be looking at, not just the year of something. That season of Splicer, I enjoyed the hell out of that season. Bungie has innovated. I don't think things just stalled out in D1. Everyone has these rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Dude, go back and play D1 right now. I've had this urge to just load up Destiny 1 and try out D1. And suddenly I realized how much of a better game Destiny 2 is. And it's not just because of the frame rate. Destiny 2 is legitimately a better game than Destiny 1. I've got my D1 copers in here right now. Like, no, Destiny 1's the best. Telling you guys. Witch Queen had peak story, but the sandbox was ass. I think the sandbox will always be ass because it always comes down to what you like. You've got a guy deep-throating his hand cannon saying, I just want to use my hand cannon, yet he's getting shit on by a pulse rifle, and he's angry because he doesn't want to be shit on by a pulse rifle. He doesn't want to have to use a pulse rifle. 30th anniversary got kind of close, but people will always find something in the meta to A, cheese with, and B, be mad about. And here's the thing. As someone who does both of those things all the time, I will make a video about some cheesy shit. I will post said video, and the very next day, I will bitch about that same build that we just posted. Why? Because I'm a Destiny player, and that's what a Destiny player does. That's just part of it. Embrace the cheese, simultaneously bitch about said cheese.
Time, and it's so obvious, like, where this energy is coming from. And a lot of creators have been doing that lately, and it warms my heart to see it. And there's more coming. Like there's a lot more creators and friends of mine that are Destiny mains that are making moves and are doing things. And you just, as a PvE player, you cannot main this game as a hardcore PvE loot grinder. It's just not that type of game anymore. If you're a PvE player, you're playing this game and you're creating your own content. And it's as sad as that is, that's the reality of it from a
That right there is my biggest concern. What Glad said, even more concerning than the fact that PvP hasn't gotten any updates. And don't get me wrong, you know, we split our time 50-50 between PvP and PvE. But that right there is hugely concerning. You have a game like Diablo that's saying, hey, PvEers, commit yourself. The grind is endless. And then you have Destiny where it's become a weekly checklist. That is the biggest concern. You have PvP players will bitch and moan and groan, but they'll still keep loading up Destiny and playing some PvP from time to time. PvE players, you fuckers will break up with the game and move on. I've seen it. And in some ways it's happening right now. I've got PvE players here that have become Diablo mains and just play Diablo all the time. So if I was Bungie, that would be my biggest concern. How do I make content that can keep a PvE player going? How do I keep them committed? And honestly, I think from a foundational standpoint, you're gonna have to change the game. You're gonna have to get rid of this weekly checklist. You know, you're gonna have to quit making content that's just expected to be removed a year later.
PvE player, because once day one raids are done, it's just the same old shit with the same old fucking model and the same old drip feed and the same old bullshit. So essentially you're just creating your own content, or you're doing things that are creating incentive or challenge for yourself. It's just, that's the PvE lifestyle. And if you're playing Destiny PvE hardcore, that's exactly what you're doing, right? Or you're just an uber collector and you want to collect everything in the entire game, which is going to create more content for you as well. And then, you know, if you're, like I said, you're the PvP player, I think I've already covered that. You're just constantly waiting for these updates that you want that are just never going to happen. Destiny is a great game. Wonderful game. It's just a fucking burnout when you try to grind it more than it provides. And it's been around for a long time. Probably for the more than half of the life of some of you in chat right now. Anybody under the age of 20, Destiny's been around for literally over half of your life.
All right. Good video there by Glad. I think he had some tough love there for sure, but the message still remains.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.